Ladies and gentlemen, please give a great SE4 forum welcome to the CEO of the IKEA Foundation, Heggenes.
Hi. Hi. Oh. So when I was asked to start the IKEA Foundation a few years ago, I didn't know that much about philanthropy, about development work, about humanitarian work. So I decided to go out and travel to the poor communities in sub-Saharan Africa, to rural communities in Asia, and try to understand how people live, what kind of issues people have in their lives, and what the foundation could do in order to improve the lives of these people. I was amazed to see how few people had access to energy and what it actually did to their opportunities. So I thought for myself, they're living so far away from the grid. What if we just forget about the grid and we leapfrog the whole grid and we provide renewable energy, clean energy to these people? That must be possible given the technology that we have today. So not long ago, I went to my favorite refugee camp in the south of Ethiopia, and I talked to a doctor who ran a health center there. And the doctor said to me, well, it's sometimes difficult because I get to deliver babies in the middle of the night, and I have to put a flashlight in my mouth and deliver the babies because the generator is down. Now, that has changed because the generator is not down anymore. They don't use a generator. UNHCR invested in renewable energy, a solar microgrid, battery backed up with that provides not only energy but reliable energy. So it dawned on me that clean energy and renewable energy is not only about the cleanliness, but it's also about the stability of energy that you get in the systems like this. So as a foundation, we have worked on energy for a few years, and we built up some experience, but we're still at the very early stage of our energy strategy. We have made huge commitments to energy, renewable energy, and to climate change-related investments in the future, but we're at the beginning of the strategy. And yet we have some learnings, and I wanted to take this opportunity to share some learnings with you about how we see the future for ourselves. So the first learning is you really have to be bold and you have to suggest alternative solutions in order to create a paradigm shift. So let me give you an example of that. We have worked with UNHCR, the High Commissioner for Refugees, over a few years to look at how can we deploy renewable energy in refugee camps. As some of you know, refugee camps are dark at night. There's no energy there, and that doesn't make for a very nice living. It's bad enough already for those people. So I'm very proud to say that in 2017, we were able to inaugurate the first ever solar power plant in a refugee camp in Azraq in Jordan. The power plant provides energy for 50,000 refugees. And can you imagine what it's like to live in the middle of the desert, in a metal container, in the scorching heat, with no access to energy, means no air conditioning, not even a fan, no ability to refrigerate your food? Well, it's not great, but that has changed after we built the plant. What has also changed is that we have saved the world thousands of tons of carbon emissions every year, and we saved UNHCR a few $1 million in energy costs. So the learning is really that you have to be bold in order to make a difference and create a paradigm shift. You have to be willing to take the risk, be the first, make some mistakes, learn from those mistakes, and share those mistakes so others don't have to make the same mistakes. Learning number 2, we have to go beyond lighting. We started out with solar light lanterns for families so kids can study after night, with street lights so that walking outside after dark was safer for women. But that's not really where the big opportunity is. The big opportunity is in productive energy. Right. The big opportunities in productive energy. We rely on productive energy every day to power up our computers, to run small machinery, to give light. But that's not the given in rural communities of the world. In poor communities, that's not there. And we want to work to make that happen in a different way. So therefore we work with organizations like the IKEA Foundation, the Access to Energy Institute at Mobisol, to push renewable energy and push the development of technology for off-grid solutions. Right? What we really want to do is create a system where poor people, people living in poor communities, have the opportunity to become entrepreneurs, to be innovators, and drive social change. Learning number 3. You can't shy away from the uncomfortable truth. So what is the uncomfortable truth? Well, the uncomfortable truth, that's difficult for me to say, is that every section of society has to be working together in order for us to avoid a climate crisis. It's about collaboration. So we thought business has a real role to play in driving change in this area. So we started to look at businesses who started to see decarbonization as an opportunity for them to change their business model and actually be cleaner in how they run their business. We wanted more business to see those examples. So we took a bold move 2 years before the COP21 in Paris, and we brought some of the 7 leading NGOs together, climate NGOs, and we said, okay, let's do a collaborative strategy and let's do whatever we can to get the best possible result out of the negotiations in Paris. The coalition was called We Mean Business, and most of the work was focused on business and getting businesses to set science-based targets for themselves and be vocal about it. Because if they're vocal about it, more businesses will come and business will drive development. We can't just leave this to the UN and to governments to fix. This is our problem for all of us. And we work with the World Resources Institute to help change access to energy for people, especially people living in poor and rural areas. So we believe that change is happening when enough people believe that change can happen. So we have to sort of reach to that famous tipping point, and then things will go in the right direction. Learning number 4. We have to bring together unlikely alliances. And this is where sustainable energy for all, this meeting here, becomes more important than ever before. Because we need collaboration in order to make this happen. We need to get a lot of different partners together. And we believe that philanthropy can play a role in bringing different partners together, investing in the risky early stage innovation, for example. And there's a reason why we have decided to support the SHINE initiative, which you will hear more about tomorrow, because SHINE will bring together development sector, technology companies, financial institutions, faith-based organizations, philanthropists, and actually drive that collaboration. You know, we have an enormous challenge ahead of us. So a challenge like this requires unprecedented collaboration. The climate movement really has to be a movement of movements, and that's what we want to be part of. So let me leave you with a call for action. We have to make this everyone's challenge. We have to be bold and uncompromising, simply. We have to think beyond just lighting, because it's productive energy for the poor that we need in order to make sure that nobody's left behind. We shouldn't forget about the uncomfortable truth, but we should focus on the solutions. And finally, we need to bring everyone around the table, because we all have a stake in this game. Thank you.